we have one more series for you here tonight. I'm Achilles back on the cast alongside Wolf. We're going to have the LA Valiant going up against the Seoul Dynasty. Both of these teams trying to climb those standings further and further as we get closer and closer to the playoffs.
It's crazy to think that the Valiant started off this season with a 0-7, a winless stage one, and they are creeping their way back through the standings. They could have a run at winning it all. No one expected it to happen. You know, nobody believed at the beginning, but this team has really turned things around.
Yeah, they absolutely have. Seoul Dynasty been floundering a little bit as of late at the start here of Stage 4, but they have been consistently in the playoffs so far this season. Things have been, rather good for them, but need to make some improvements here in the 2-2-2 meta. Go ahead and take a look at the standings at the moment, and you can see Dynasty just on the outer rim of that top 6 in 8th place at the moment. Map differential still quite strong for them, but they need to start putting wins on the board.
That's right, and you can take a look at the Valiant down at 14th. They're just 2 spots away from being in that top 12 cutoff for play-in. And with a good Stage 4 here, especially with a win over the Seoul Dynasty, is absolutely attainable here. Got a great map differential. If you look at all the teams below that cut line, they have the best at -3. So they are really, on their way to a real comeback here if they can keep that momentum from Stage 3 going.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if they're going to be able to pick that up. I mean, Space has been back in the roster as of late since the beginning here of Stage 4, and he's been pretty instrumental for this squad. I mean, even in the beginning when they started their comeback run earlier on, Space was one of the biggest proponents of their success.
Yeah, he certainly was, and he's been very instrumental here in Stage 4. There's been a lot of Stage 3 on the bench because D.Va became, a little bit less meta. Very much at the end was almost completely gone outside of the Pharah Widow. So, Shax came in, took over that role. But because now we have this 2-2-2 lock and D.Va is still very important. Roadhog as well. You've got both Space and Shax in the lineup. So they're playing together here in Stage 4, and the synergy is definitely there.
Yeah, and Space has been showing us that he has one hell of a Roadhog as well. So can just, flip between those pretty, aimlessly, just go for whatever the team needs. Seoul Dynasty, though, everything kind of in a much-win situation if they want to slide into that top 6 that we said currently resting in 8th. Need to get as many clean victories as we can as we take a look at the remaining schedule here in Stage 4, and they have some pretty tough opponents.
Yeah, the only, the ones you could feel a little bit more comfortable with are the Defiant and Fusion here. Dragons did take a loss to the Defiant, so that even makes
who knows now?
It makes it a little bit less comfortable, but especially when you're looking at Valiant Charge and the Dragons, the second match against them, they've already lost once with the 3-1 scoreline. This is a very tough schedule for them, in terms of teams that are up there right now past the playoff cut line, they're trying to join, right? They're just on the edge of that. It's a tough schedule to make it happen.
Yeah, they've only picked up 2 maps so far in the stage. They currently have that healthy map differential, but if they keep suffering losses like the 3-1s, and God forbid for them, a 4-0 loss, it's really going to hurt, and they're going to fall lower and lower in the standings. So they're going to be looking to avoid that. But guys, let's go ahead and kick off this series. Let's bring out our first team, the home team. It's the LA Valiant.
As mentioned earlier, a rough start to the season, but they have really come back in full force. And we've seen all of their players come in, and I mean, at the beginning of the season, we weren't seeing a ton of Custa, right? Remember, it was Kuki in that position back then. It was Iziaki over Kareem off in Space. A little bit less relevant, in a GOAT's favored meta. Shax only coming in later in the season. But right now, this team feels like it's at its most complete form. It feels like the Valiant of 2018, and they've got a real good shot to make that play-in tournament happen.
Well, we'll see if they can do it, if they can get through their opponents. Let's bring them out on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Seoul Dynasty.
Reppin' 82, I'm in Seoul City. Riding down the streets, got my homies with me.
Seoul Dynasty trying to get into that playoff spot. They don't want to play through the play-in tournament. They don't want to deal with all those teams that are hungry for that top spot. The play-in tournament is going to be extremely competitive because a lot of the teams that are just barely making the cut line were weak in GOATs but strong in this meta. You don't want to get caught up in that. Speaking of which, Seoul Dynasty, a little bit lackluster here at the end of Stage 3, at the beginning of Stage 4. We'll be starting Illicit and Fitz again here. Illicit over Fleta. It's going to be the Jaehong Jekse on the back end, of course, and supports. And Michelle, once again, in this lineup as flex tank. A little bit weak on the Roadhog, played a lot of D.Va last week, and that ended up being a big problem for Seoul Dynasty and attributed a lot to their loss.
Yeah, I mean, Illicit here, especially in that damage roll. This is probably the most flexible spot that the Seoul Dynasty have at this point. Well, with Fleta also waiting in the wings, but Illicit and Fitz will be starting things off. They're going to have to really try to get those initial picks in the fights, especially on control, to set up for those lockdowns so they can get situated on the point, perhaps within the reset buttons.
Now, Illicit has been, you know, a lot of these maps where you do see more dive-oriented play. He is a projectile DPS, and you know, when you think of Fleta, you think he can play anything. He is a great Pharah player. He also plays hit scan. Illicit is more strictly the Genji, the Hanzo. You'll see him on the Mei every now and then. Junkrat, another one of his specialties on defense. So interested to see what strategy we will see as we head into our very first control map of Busan, because you know, a lot of the time we see Tracer on this map. We've seen a lot of Reaper Mei. I think there's a really good chance that we will be seeing that from Seoul Dynasty here with Fitz and Illicit on the starting lineup.
Yep, on Busan to start, as you say, will be Mecha Base to go ahead and kick off this set.
Feels like we've seen a lot of Busan here in stage 4, you know?
Oh yeah.
And it's a really cool map right now because a lot of different styles can be used. You could see Widowmaker here, you could see the Reaper Mei, you could see Reinhardt, you know? And Tracer, Dive, we've seen a little bit. Sombra more popular. And the start here for the Dynasty will actually be Fitz on Sombra. Not going to be running the Reaper. It will be on the Valiant side where we see that hero make its debut.
Yep. Hog there for Michelle. Space going to be on that D.Va. So major comfort pick for him. Reroute coming in for the Seoul Dynasty on their approach over to the point. Just going to be swinging out wide to the right side.
As soon as they see the Reaper composition, Fitz is going to make a swap over to the McCree.
Pull in on that halt barrier coming up. Shax trying to find a target. They break down the shield, and that's going to be Fitz getting eliminated. No one able to body block for him. Now Marvel falling low will get finished off by Space. Next thing, manages to find one, knocking the D.Va off the side of the map, but the cap is still rolling through for the Valiant. They will be on the board first.
The Valiant had a choice to make when they saw the McCree, which is going to outrange their Reaper comp. Would they either stay on the point, stand on the point? Oh, hold that thought.
Oh, nice pick.
Yeah, this could actually turn the fight, so might explain my point in a moment.
Rip being a bit too far forward there, it would seem. Barrier on the wall coming up, trying to escort them, but Illicit goes into the back, looking for somebody to lock up, but he just gets melted. Shax comes up big with that pick, constantly surviving with a sliver of HP, even through being bionated, but can he get back over, try to top up Fact Fiction. Supercharger's gonna be coming in. Michelle manages to find one as the Reaper goes away. We'll go ahead, take a breather, has the whole hog, pops that one instantly, knocks Space out of that mech, kills him off, and dodges that self-destruct. In the meantime, it's just gonna be a loss of Marvel, so both tanks suffering. A loss here in the fight, but it will be the Seoul Dynasty able to come out on top.
So they could have either taken the point or controlled the choke. They controlled the choke, won that first team fight, then flipped the point. But when they had to back off, you know, take that point, and the Seoul Dynasty were able to get out of that choke, then they were able to use the range damage of the McCree. And McCree's not really a counter to Reaper per se, but if you have that extra range damage, it makes it much more difficult for the McCree to approach. It also helps you hold these chokes with the burst damage that McCree has at short range.
Yep, knockout of Space on the side as well. Not gonna be looking to stagger him, just go ahead, finish him off instantly.
So now for the Valiant, you know, how do you get this Reaper into position? It's gonna have to be a speed boost, but you can't go through the angle the Dynasty are defending, so you either have to fake them out or try to bait out the wall. But either way, you're losing time, you're losing control percentage. They're gonna try to fake them out and go around this side. So they should be able to break through. They do.
Yep, no fast reposition there from the Seoul Dynasty. However, Supercharger going to be placed onto the high ground as Marvel drops down, puts that barrier in, trying to keep himself safe. Deadeye is out from Fitz. He'll get pulled up the high ground, limiting his vision. And now he's going to get frozen up. Push around the side, and that's going to be KSF and Shax able to finish them off. Flip comes back through, 48% for the Seoul Dynasty, 55 and climbing for the Valiant.
Really nice reaction by Fact Fiction. The fight on the point was going to be won by KSF with the Blizzard, but he just guarantees that Fitz gets pulled in and off of the high ground, preventing that High Noon from getting value. And they still get to hold on to the Death Blossom.
And speaking of which, there it is, and Shax just absolutely destroys the entire team. by himself. Death Blossom, nothing to be done about it. 6 kills in the bag.
Yeah, that might be a first for the season, to actually have a Death Blossom get a 6K, or maybe even an Ultimate getting a 6K.
I think a quad might be the most that we've had so far.
Now, this is literally just him being unseen. And the thing about it is you have to use the Mei wall. Like, when you approach like this, you have to use the Mei wall like that, so he knows they're going to be on that side. It's such a smart play.
Yeah, and now back into the action. Jexay and Marvel both going to be taken down. Fitz has managed to find Shax, and now Illicit eliminated after the Blizzard comes through. Passive Blizzard damage does manage to take down Fact Fiction. Seoul Dynasty starting to get the flip to come in. You still have KSF and Karib playing up here onto the point. Wall coming through. Blizzard going to be tossed down. No way to deny that one out. Michelle makes it off to the side, stops himself from getting frozen. Now the sound barrier comes in as Jexay rejoins the team, and KSF is going to be eliminated. Sleep over on a Fact Fiction as well. Lands him right in onto the point. Hook back through and taken down. Dynasty get the flip as it hits overtime, but they're starting at 50%.
The Seoul Dynasty will be able to have some Reaper tricks of their own now, controlling these chokes. So let's see how this ends up getting set up for the Valiant. They're going to put Fact Fiction back onto the Orisa. And KSF nowhere near a Blizzard, so this is a big problem. There's not a lot of ways to build ult here for the Valiant. They're going to have to try to fake this out. Looks like they're going to split for a moment here. There's the wall.
Yep, just trying to deny some vision there from Illicit so they can't get walled off. Now the barrier coming through from Karib, stacking those ultimates, but a Vionate does connect in. The Fact Fiction taken down at the cost of Illicit. Sleep now over onto Karib. Shax drops in the Death Blossom. This time finds one, but Fitz is there to capitalize. Takes him down, then retreats around the back. It's a finishing shot there onto space.
And now the Seoul Dynasty have to be at their most careful. But they have this choke controlled. There's no sound barrier, but they should be able to build it in a long fight if it comes to that. I don't think holding the choke is worth the risk.
Yep, had to peel back. Illicit was still rejoining in with a squad. Michelle, however, going to be frozen up, tries to take a breather. Looks like he will be surviving for a little bit longer as the whole hog gets popped, but that means that he is just going to get taken down. Fact Fiction going to be training it out, both front lines suffering some losses. Space can be frozen for the moment, now knocked out of the mech. As Marvel nearly has a minefield online. Vince comes in, Death Blossom, he gets 4. It might not be 6, but it gets them the win on the round.
13 Death Blossom kills in total that round. Very, very close start to this series. But I gotta say, there was a lot of really good decision making on the side of the Valiant around how to play around the Reaper we saw from Fitz, how to utilize the fact that Seoul was using the wall to approach Shax hiding there, and saying, look, you think this wall is gonna save you from our damage, but in fact you've trapped yourselves in my Death Blossom. But then that last fight, Seoul Dynasty stepping away from the choke, saying there's a chance that we might lose someone if we try to control this choke, then we won't be able to get the sound barrier value. So, I'm gonna watch this. Well, we had a replay set there, but we're just gonna jump into the game instead.
It's all good. Let's focus on the action rather than going back. I mean, who wants to see the 4K anyway? The 6K was better.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna be seeing a lot of clips of that around the internet for days and days to come. Well, it is gonna be Fitz on the Sombra again, how they started this off. Did swap quickly to the McCree. And he may just do the same. He does. Once he sees Shax's Reaper, he's going to again try to outpoke it and outrange it.
Looking for the halt, not able to find anything. Good forward position established by the Valiant. The Dynasty have to try to advance even though the point isn't unlocked. Marvel does manage to make his way up onto the other side of the drum. As Illicit tries to poke out and get that Blizzard online. He is surging ahead of KSF at the moment as far as that Blizzard charge is concerned. Now trying to get the freeze in onto space, but he manages to round himself back around the drum, and now Custa going to be taken down with the help of that Bionade coming from Jaehong. Riv and Custa both eliminated, no supports, now no mitigation because the D-Matrix has been taken away. That'll be the cleanup, that'll be the first cap coming in for the Dynasty.
Tons of extra damage coming through on Fitz's McCree. He does die here, and the reapproach should be fairly easy because Seoul have this area controlled. He's not going to swap over the Reaper because he still has this setup here with the Orisa Hog, where he has also Peel with Illicit, so he can actually outrange the Valiant as they come through. So Shax is going to eat a lot of chip damage. Space swaps over actually to the Diva here, as it's much harder to attack with a Hog, you know, when your opponent has this great of a defensive setup.
Ult coming through, wall goes up. No hooks to be concerned about, but now Deadeye out from Fitz looking for a shot, but another wall to go ahead and deny that away. He's gonna go back to the left place. Holt comes in, dragging the members together and allowing them to get frozen by the Blizzard, but Shax himself as well gonna get locked up by Illicits. Does get taken down. Michelle gonna be the trade. Dynasty looking to maintain controls. They hit 45%. Jehong's gone low. They have a sound barrier ready to go, but might just have to wait for the next fight, as they do lose Fitz, but no, they will go ahead and commit the shields to the fight and manage to knock space out of his mag. Still trying to hold out hope here to get this victory. Maintain control of the point. It seems so far to be pretty decent. Backfiction gonna go down. Custa's still gonna be using the sound barrier for himself. Illicit gets eliminated by Shax and wakes his way into the back line. Now back into the front. Takes down Marvel. Jehong is gone, and that will be the flip at 66%.
I'm curious to see if Fitz is going to swap here, because you can obviously on your approach to the point, yeah, he does swap. You can on your approach to the point as McCree sometimes flank and find some extra damage, but most of the time you're going to be shooting into Backfiction's shield as the attacking McCree. No Marie in the game yet. I don't know. Maybe that'll be a hero one day. But
the next character.
The next character. But Fitz, he's going to have a problem here getting into position, especially with Shax trying to set up for the Blossom. They will have a Blizzard for it, so I think they're going to try to pair this. Very expensive, but I think well worth it when you're this far behind an ult percentage, or rather, control percentage.
Nearly have a Nano Boost online for Jehong. Could combine that with the whole hog, perhaps. Shax forces the Wraith form, wraps around the other side. As a Blizzard comes down from KSF, and Marvel gets taken out. Whole hog is used by Michelle, but he can't take a breather, so we'll just go ahead and get Focus Fired down. One of them Fitz tries to escape, but he won't.
Yep, he's dead. One of the other big differences in composition, you know, outside of the McCree between these two is the Moira for Kareev. And now he's able to make, you know, a lot more of these ultimate moments, you know, happen because he's building it quicker, you know, these coalescences. But he's also able to keep Shax alive better than an Ana can, because he has burst healing. Shax has self-sustain with the lifesteal that Reaper has. So it's very difficult to kill Shax without freezing him, and because he has the Wraith Walk. This next attack for Seoul Dynasty, even though they have Blizzard, is not a guaranteed fight win by any means.
TP out from Fitz. Trying to make his way into the back. He's going to be in the thick of the fight at the moment as the bomb comes up over the top, looks for a pick, but it's unable to find anything. Blizzard still channeling at the moment here from Illicit. The sound barrier and the ice block there from KSF. Help keeps him alive for a little bit longer, but Jehong manages to take him down with the help of that Bionade. Now Costa going to be eliminated, just Kareev trying to keep his team alive. Right-click's going out, trying to finish off Marvel, but he is getting sustained up, and the Supercharger is still empowering multiple members on the side of the Seoul Dynasty as he look to flip this one back into their favor and try to close it out with a 2-0. Looks like they might just be able to do so as Backfiction and Shax both get taken down. The flip coming in, they're looking for a little bit more. Unable to get additional staggers, but now they're at 70%.
Okay, so when you look at this situation for the LA Valiant, they've got another Coalescence, they have a Death Blossom, but I think they'd be best to poke out the last part of KSF's Blizzard to pair these together. They're gonna have a Supercharger too. There's no reason to overextend here without those ultimates, without that pairing. You have so much more power if you wait till the last moment. That's exactly what we're gonna do. 10% on KSF's Blizzard, and they're playing it patient.
It's gonna be Blizzard v Blizzard, Death Blossom v Death Blossom. Nano's gonna be used. You see the Blizzard taken away by Michelle. Supercharger gonna be taken down. Fitz now follows up on the Backfiction. Shax eliminated. They're already down 3 members, and Custa is frozen. Kareev is dead, and Space is out of the mech. That's gonna be the team wipe. That's gonna be the OT ticking down, and the Seoul Dynasty taking Busan with a 2-0.
You wait for the Blizzard, you approach patiently, and everything that you've got planned for your final attack is absorbed before your eyes. Michelle takes away the Blizzard with Defense Matrix. Seoul Dynasty, great start to the series, very closely fought map number 1, but I think we're in for a good one here.
Yep, a very good start here for the Seoul Dynasty. Valiant putting up a fight. Not really, you know, making this one a bit close, despite the fact that they couldn't get any round victories there on Busan. Taking a look back at Shax, shutting them down with that 6K Death Blossom, and then here you go, Fitz going back in, answering with a quad of his own. Fantastic stuff from both of these squads so far, but Seoul lead the series 1-0.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Oh, one more time.
The Vancouver Titans, Stage 1 champions.
The Shock have done it! Stage 2 champions!
Make some noise for the current holders of the California Cup.
That is right. Coming up very quickly is the Kit Kat Rivalry Weekend hosted by the LA Valiant. 24th and 25th of August. I mean, this season's been flying by. This stage, I expect, is going to do very similar. So make sure you get your tickets in before it's too late.
Yeah, don't want to miss that one. It's going to be great. First two homestands were incredible, and I imagine this one will be just as awesome. So the Valiant, you know, had a pretty close first map. They're going to sub Shax out, put Agilities in here as we head into Hanamura. We know the hero pools between these two players are pretty different. Agility's playing mostly Brigitte throughout this season, but you know, he can swap off to the Mei. We know he's capable of that. We know his Genji is also quite serviceable as well. And on assault maps, that's kind of the go-to you want. Also, Junkrat is something that, you know, we do see quite often, especially on Temple of Anubis. But that's not Achilleos where we are headed.
No, it is not.
It's going to be Hanamura for our second map of the series here.
Yeah, and I think it's the first time that you and I are casting Hanamura so far in the stage.
Yeah.
Always good to go back. Very solid map coming up here. So we'll see what the Valiant can do to try to get back on the board and tie up this set. We've had some extremely close series here this evening. So why should this one be excluded?
And we've had a flashy start to this one as well. 17 Death Blossom kills in total amongst Shax and Fitz. 8 and 9 respectively on that last map. No substitutions for the Dynasty. They have Illicit as that player who is flexible on the projectile to play the attack Genji, to play the Junkrat. Well, I'm not trying to insinuate that as we head into Hanamura that we will even see Junkrat or Genji. It's much more common to see that on Temple of Anubis. We see a lot more Pharah play here, which is also Agility's forte.
Well, look at that.
And it's one of his most iconic heroes since the beginning of his career. So, you know, this is not a big shock.
Well, and as you can see, both these teams not really playing too much Hanamura this season. 2 times for the side of the Valiant and just the 3 for the Dynasty.
Yeah, it was only in stage 1, I believe, the map pool. So just now, you know, we're getting to the beginning of stage 4 where
the robot raid going on in the arcade.
Illicit looks like he's considering starting the Genji here, but he's breaking my heart, and they're just going to scout first.
Widowmaker.
Yeah,
so
it is going to be the Genji.
Yeah, will be. Okay, yeah, change up.
Got to scout first before you commit to anything. And when you see the Mercy, that's your first big sign. It is going to be the Genji commitment.
Back there on a space as the hook goes down. He's unable to take a breather. He's unable to survive. Jexay, though, gonna get picked off. Fairly even trade here for the side of the Valiant. A very slow run back for that Roadhog. Now pushing their way forward here onto the point. Hack goes forward on the KSF. They're trying to keep him alive with the Bionade, but Jae-Hong answers back. Stops that healing from coming through and manages to take him down. Alyssa could be wrapping around the side, picks up the mini pack. Now right in behind Custa. Can't quite find his targets. Looking for Agilities. He's getting pocketed up. We'll finish him off so far, despite all of that pressure being applied from multiple members on the side of the Dynasty. Though dashes his way out to safety and gets taken down by Agilities. Just moments before, got rid of Jae-Hong.
Kareev with the sleep actually helps prevent that from snowballing there. But at the end of the day, they do get 1 tick. Jexay swapped over to the Lucio, and I expect him to swap back to the Mercy if they really want to continue running this Genji. He's already at 70% of the blade, so it's not absolutely necessary, but you normally do have that Mercy pocket when you are going for blade strategies like this. And they have the nano, so he really only needs to get about 15% more or so there, and then he can commit into the fight, get the blade with his first dash, and then start having those resets pop off with the EMP ready as well. This is going to be very difficult for the Valiant to hold. A sleep dart, though, from Kareev, which he's hit so many of this season, can be all you need. Way easier said than done.
Marvel going on a bit of an expedition, just exploring the landscape of Hanamura way in the back.
Yep.
Move his way over towards the point now.
They're trying to
go for this
sandwich.
contest.
Yeah, they want to sandwich. They want to collapse in here. Here he goes.
There we go. Minefield gets jumped in. KSF, ooh, man. Nearly put himself in a very precarious spot. Can't quite get the shot there. Auto Illicit. Now the Dragon Blade's going to be coming through. Looking for a target. Pushes his way down. Gets the slice there. Auto Kariv is now trying to finish off that Fiction. But instead, he's just going to go into the mines. Agility's going to be taken down in Seoul Dynasty. Looks like they will be able to cap A. A minute and a half remaining as they will go ahead and take this up and bump up to 4.5.
What's incredible about this too is it's done without the EMP. Really nice setup there with Marvel. And Kariv has to use the Bionade early to save KSF, which means he doesn't have a second one, so there's just no way to deny healing. Those Jexay is still nowhere near a sound barrier. That just shows you how dominant that push was for the Dynasty. It took almost no damage, there was almost no healing. And there is an opportunity here for a potential snowball if this EMP ends up leading to a kill or two and some dash resets for Illicit. Here we go.
Yep. Up over the top, EMP comes down, manages to catch 3, including that Pharmacy duo, but so far not going to be eliminated in space. Gets that D-Matrix up and perfectly protects back Fiction, allowing him to retreat successfully. Barrage down from Agilities will get taken out. Now the Pharmacy completely dismantled as Custom falls as well. But can they make their way over onto the point? So respawns not going to take very long here for the side of the Valiant. Already Agility's going to be back up, goes over onto the Doomfist. Deflection used by Illicit, turns his head, trying to deny away a headshot. Barely makes it out away from the Doomfist, who receives the Nano Boost. Agility's looking for an opening. Nothing taken on the point so far for the side of the Dynasty. A hat comes down. Agility's hounded out. Manages to be eliminated by Michelle. Space now going to get popped out of the mech. Back Fiction playing forward here. On the point, gets anti. The blade is in from Illicit. It's the deflection. Softens up KSF just a little bit, but he's going to have to retreat even with the Wraith Walk. Now it's 2 ticks getting ready to be snagged by the Dynasty.
Great plays from Illicit all around. Incredible Dragon Blade coming out.
Agility's going to be eliminated. Marvel still in the fight. Has that Primal Rage ready to go. Pops it, goes into the back line. Looking to bat them off the point. Can't quite isolate anybody to get a kill, however. He's going lower and lower and will be finished off by KSF.
Well, it was such great plays on both sides, but I have to say, Michelle comes in, denies Agilities the ability to barrage. Illicit is just looking for 1 kill. The Dynasty give that to him. He starts flying around with dash resets, builds a blade, and they were so close to taking B here. But this is an ideal situation for the Valiant. They have a long fight where they hold, so much time is burnt off the clock. Agility swapping to the Doomfist was the perfect pick to counter the mobility on the Genji. Just lock him up.
Gone low, seems that Bionade. Agilities does as well. He's getting shipped lower and lower. Looks like he has made it out to safety. We'll get topped back up by Kariv and Custa. Back into the fight, Illicit falling low. Sliver of HP remaining for the Genji. But now it's a corner here from Agilities. He gets to go ahead and exit with a Meteor Strike. Not sure where he wants to drop back down. Hack goes forward. Now the blade is out from Illicit. Slicing and dicing, looking for a kill. Transcendence is out from Custa, trying to keep everybody alive, but KSF healing is just not enough to keep that Reaper in the mix, but still Valiant. Gonna have 5 members strong here on the point. Bombs out from Michelle into the back, looks for a pick, is unable to find anything, and Fitz gets taken down by Agilities, who's then punished by Marvel. Bomb in from space, looking for Jae-Hong, gets him, and Marvel goes down just moments before, pistol down by the pilot form D.Va.
I think it might be time to swap off the Genji here for Illicit. He's had so many opportunities to get dash resets, but the counterplay from the Valiant has been immaculate, and Agilities is just the perfect answer. He's gonna, when you have the Doomfist, it makes it so much more difficult for Genji to go deep because he's always under threat of getting rocket punched into a wall. He swaps over to his own Doomfist here now, matching Agilities, because they know they don't have the time to have a great Nano Blade fight left with only 70 seconds on the clock. This is one way where you can get a bunch of kills early. All you need is 1 tick. You just need to get 3 or 4 kills, and you can finish this map.
KSF just TPing back and forth here. For his opportunity to get some damage in. Primal Rage out from Marvel at the moment. Gonna create some space as Agilities misses out on the rocket punch, and Illicit punishes him. Takes him down, another over onto the point. They've already grabbed the first 2 ticks, looking to finish with time in the bank, but there's only 43 seconds remaining. Nano Boost goes forward on a KSF now. The Death Blossom online with a sleep, instantly connects from Jae-Hong, shutting it down. No 6K this time. They take their way up still, however. The bar has not been moving for them. Still just the 1 kill, that's all that they have netted for themselves. Space going lower and lower, has that Orb of Harmony, but now it's going to be the Transcendence out from Custa, keeps everybody else topped up, and Fitz is going to be eliminated by Agilities. Going lower, but he dashes over to the side, keeps himself safe, and KSF is back over on the Bastion, burns down Illicit, knocks Michelle out of the mech, and Dynasty have only got 13 seconds remaining.
This is a great hold here from the Valiant. Doesn't look like Soul's going to be able to finish this off. Illicit's not here.
Can't even touch. Nope. Gonna have to be Jexay trying to make his way through, but he just gets knocked straight into the wall. Fitz will tag out, EMP in. But KSF melts him down. Jump forward here from Marvel. Drops the bubble. Illicit is back in. The Meteor strike over the top, but he has to get over to the point to contest this one. Joins back in. It's a little bit of shielding, but Agilities with the nano boost cuts him down. OT will bleed away, and that is going to be it. They get well over 2 ticks, but they cannot finish B.
Great performance by Agilities on the Doomfist, shutting down the first cap where they got so close with Illicit's dash resets and Blade. He comes out, defends, pushes them away, and allows the Valiant to defend B. Now they've got an opportunity to win this map outright and tie up the series.
84.6% set up by the Seoul Dynasty. Let's see how the Valiant fare on their attack.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
And here we go. LA Valiant getting set up on their attack, successfully defending at point B. 84.6% is all that the Seoul Dynasty could add to themselves.
Yeah, the Dynasty are going to have to hope for a very solid defense on A. They're looking to set this up with the Illicit May. And right now, Valiant, with that crazy defense from Agilities, we could be looking at a world where Seoul Dynasty is at like a 1:30 or 2-minute time bank, had that push finished there. Agilities with a really clutch defense. Now we'll see what he ends up running on the attack. I don't think he'll want to run the Genji because of the composition the Dynasty are running. Gonna scout first, and then he may stick with this Sombra, but I think it's much more likely we'll see a swap. Sombra Hanzo, not really a huge thing.
Yep. A little bit of pressure being applied there. It's making his presence known.
It's the Pharah.
KSF successfully dodging out on that hook, but unable to get into a position to really poke anybody down so far. Ult gonna be coming in. Walls out from Illicit, denies away any sight lines. KSF comes up over the top, looking for Fitz. Only manages to connect a couple of arrows, but he sets up Agilities to go ahead and get that finishing blow. Remember, this is the Batiste and the Ana. There's no way to res him back in. We'll be able to run back into the fight very quickly, but he's only just now respawning.
No real consistent way to knock the Pharah out of the sky either. Even with the Ana and the Batiste, it's just a lot easier than it sounds.
Shell around the back, he's gonna be careful. Concussive Blast is coming up now.
Very lucky that was on cooldown.
Oh, well, he's just gonna get pulled over to the side. Let's get yoinked back in as Agilities hops his way out, even though he was being hacked in. Illicit goes into the ice block, keeping himself safe, looking for the finishing blow there on attack Fiction. They get the Bionate down onto him. They will get finished off by Marvel. The whole hug comes in from the flank, out from Michelle. Gonna just push the rest of them away from the point. 1 tick snagged by the Valiant. Just about, actually no, thought they had it.
No,
but they're so very close.
Very close, as you say. And Agilities has the barrage ready. He did a ton of damage in that last push, set up the opening kill.
Oh no, they know.
Yep, that's, oh wow. Uh-oh.
If they turn this, oh my god, can they actually turn this? Dragon Strike into the back chain, take it down!
No way.
Oh man! They might actually make it happen.
Unbelievable.
KSF, the hero. He makes Karim look like he's a 5-man. He comes up with the kills, and now they're taking A.
That's how you turn a mispositioned Zenyatta, a mistake, into an absolute fight turnaround. They get to fight through the healing, they get that opening pick, and then it's the blind Dragon Strike from KSF. He didn't have Sonic Arrow, it's just the game sense and the teammates that he has calling out where everyone is. Gets the kill on the Jaehong, and that's all you need now. 4 minutes and 45 seconds of Seoul Dynasty have to hold. They've got a great ult economy, but that's only going to last so long.
You can see him asking for healing, but no one is in range to give it to him, so Fitz into the back line actually finishes him off. Now Agility's taken down, the rest of the tanks walled off. We'll be able to hold them, but it's still 4.5 minutes that the Seoul Dynasty have to push back the Valiant for if they want to take this.
It's a really nice ult-efficient defense, only the Blizzard. One of the faster building ultimates. He's even going to swap over the Doomfist anyways, as we do see the Valiant make their own swaps. The Pharah much less effective in close quarters on B, but you don't really have that much fly space. And they're going to get the Reaper for that sustained team fight potential. A Reaper can be very vulnerable to Doomfist Rocket Punch. This is going to be the EMP fight.
And it is, all 6. Hacked out, easy peasy, single alt use there for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Alyssum doesn't really get to participate too much, so he's only got 11% towards that Meteor Strike.
This is very common, right? When you have big ultimates like EMP and you have the total full control of the map, so no matter how the Valiant approach, unless you get, you know, spotted, there's just no way to shut it down, so you have to take that lost fight. You took the lost fight with the Blizzard, so this is Seoul Dynasty getting the best ult economy that they can. And Fitz is already, you know, a third of the way to another EMP. If they can build that quickly, they can buy another minute or so of time. But this is the scariest part, right?
Yeah.
All they have is a nano.
Exactly. The hardest fight here for the Dynasty, but if they can get through this one, they might just be able to hold them off. Whole Hog going to be coming through as the nano connects in onto Illicit. Bongo already going to be taken away. Charger rather there. As Jaehong snipes that one down. Punch goes forward on a Fact Fiction, weakens him, but they're unable to get the kill. Pocket healing coming out. Keeps him sustained. One tick going to be snagged for free as the Dynasty rejoin here onto the point. EMP comes down, catches 5. KSF disappears, but not before he takes down Marvel. But Jexay is there with the res to put the Winston back into the fight. Now Fact Fiction does get eliminated. The Dynasty will be able to maintain control of the point with Illicit coming up with a 4K on the back end.
Lunatic High style here from Seoul Dynasty. The fight looks lost. Valiant have positional advantage. Marvel jumps away, survives through Jaehong's left-click heals, as well as Jexay pocketing him, gets the res there. The EMP goes off as he barely builds it in time. It's on a knife's edge, that defense. I mean, they are barely able to hold, but it's just insane mechanical skill across this roster that makes it happen.
Still dangerously close here for the Dynasty to lose this one. Ice block going to be used by Agilities, and there it is, Michelle! He takes the Blizzard away. Absolutely huge play coming out from the D.Va player here for the Seoul Dynasty. But can they still stop the push? It looks like maybe yes. Meteor Strike going to be coming down. Fact Fiction already eliminated. Seismic Slam goes down, and that's going to be Agility's eliminated. KSF manages to find one. He builds up that Death Blossom, but can he still play forward here with the rest of the squad, trying to turn this around? Seems like the answer is going to be no. He'll get juggled by the Primal Rage here from Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel had to pop the Primal there. Well, arguably didn't have to pop it, but regardless, he was forced to by KSF. You know, he got it in his head, he used it there. Arguably, he could have held it, but that's another missing ultimate here for the Seoul Dynasty. Again, they're going to have an EMP hold. For the Valiant, they have that Death Blossom, but Michelle could eat it, it could be slept. It's not a guaranteed ultimate. You're very likely to get interrupted here by so many different things. You might even get hacked.
EMP comes out, only manages to find 2. The Death Blossom goes forward, and Jexay goes down. Space managing to find 1. Illicit Frozen will be eliminated. Space comes up with 2. Now the Seoul Dynasty need to hold on for dear life. Michelle gonna be hosed down by the Coalescence Griff, taking out that baby D.Va in the self-destruct, unable to find anything. KSF going low. TP's over onto the side. Halfway to that second tick, getting ready to roll through as they rejoin in with the Tracer, but Fitz is going to be eliminated. It seems like maybe that trigger-happy EMP might just cost them in the end. They train the Valiant down to 40 seconds. Second tick gonna be snatched up, and there it is. They get the cap here on B, and we are tied up 1-1.
You said it best, trigger-happy EMP. It's not enough. There's no second miracle hold for Seoul Dynasty. That was their best tool, their best option to hold that ensuing pressure coming through with the Death Blossom. They push it through too early. They don't hit the members they need, and the LA Valiant are able to clean up house easily Pretty one-sided Hanamura to tie us up.
Seemed like full-blown panic there from Fitz, but now they have some time to take it easy and get settled for the next half. So we'll see you guys after halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
And it looks like we may have saved the best for last. After the Dynasty came out and took map 1, it was the Valiant clutching up on Hanamura point B, even things up at 1 apiece. Welcome back, everybody. This is the third halftime with the score 1-1. I've got my friends from match 2 back in action. It's Josh, it's Bren. Different teams today, but you guys were all riding the same trade. Who did you guys think was going to win today?
Yeah, we thought it was going to be the Seoul Dynasty. I think because even though they had the losses so far in Stage 4, they seemed like they were playing a fairly quality style of Overwatch. And Valiant just squeaked out a win over Paris. But it seems like both of these teams are on a fairly even level. And it's been a very close game. Both maps could have gone either way, I think.
Now remember, Valiant have won 6 of their last 7 matches. We thought they were out of the playoff run. They're right back in it. Seoul trying to stay in that top 12. And it was Seoul who came out swinging in our first map, Busan. Let's take a look back at some of the big moments, Bren. You wanted to watch the Reaper. Malik wasn't here, so you took over.
I was channeling the spirit of Malik.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't with us, but he was here in spirit. And I was like, you know what Reaper would love? Just a Reaper playlist of people pressing Q the entire game. So that's what we've kind of put together here. But Busan, we saw predominantly a lot more Reaper made than we usually see in a lot of these teams. Feels like teams are still getting a grip to what to run or what they want to run on a lot of these sections, a lot of these maps. This seems like almost a default composition on Control. Synergizes really nicely. You got the Orisa, you got the Hog. You know, you can pull people in. It's very close quarters, very scrappy, which Reaper and May delivered a lot.
Now, Josh, there was something special in there. It was
Oh, yeah.
6K. We saw one player get 6 kills. Walk us through how it happened.
Yeah, I got a State Farm Old Economy where we're going to go through this 6K.
No way.
Because it was actually quite interesting. There was more than just the Q press here. It was KSF that really controlled the tempo. This choke is really hard to get through. The idea is he wants to put a wall down and isolate one player from the other 5 behind them, right? So that's the generic kind of flow that this would normally have. And then the rest of his team comes in and focuses down that one player that he's cut off. So Seoul Dynasty know this, so they're going to put this wall down. Illicit puts this wall here, and and it totally blocks off line of sight for KSF. So it's not like KSF can put a wall kind of around the place. That doesn't fly. You have to be able to see the area that you want to put the wall. So they've edited the map, but they don't know that Shaxx is down there. So Shaxx has the perfect opportunity now to spring out close range, use that Death Blossom, and absolutely rack up kills in the kill feed. Another little squiggle onto this as well. Look at the D.Va defense matrix, just covering him the entire time.
Yeah.
So even though Jaehong had his sleep available, nothing that he could do in that scenario, and Shaxx cleans up an easy 6K. Big play, 6K.
First ever 6K in Overwatch League?
That I can remember,
Yeah.
I think so.
All
But
one
the funny
beat,
thing
nice
is as
and
well,
clean.
I mean, that's actually not efficient gameplay. You want to stagger out the kills. If you kill everyone at the same time, they spawn quicker.
Brennan,
they get back
looks
in the fight. Yeah, I'm going to bring the mood down instead.
I just say,
drag it down.
Captain Planet told me it's officially the first Reaper 6K. Thank you,
Unreal.
our
Okay.
stats wizard in the back. All right, let's take a look at our second map of the day coming out between these two teams. Hanamura loaded up, and I thought this is Seoul now going up 2-0 at the half. They look good on their attack. Walk me through some of the big moments here.
There's something about this this meta that we're seeing where teams they feel a lot more evenly matched regardless of kind of the discrepancies in skill level, I think. And watching this really proved that to me as well, because minor mistakes can cause a team to just snowball out of control and manage to take these following 2 points. But if they manage to hold, often you see teams like Seoul really struggle. They manage to not even cap this, even fully. They got absolutely stuck in the mud, if you will.
Yeah, and then when they were on their own defense, they actually held really well on point A and point B. Were able to take off a huge amount of time. But one slip-up, and the LA Valiant capitalized on it, and they just stormed their way through. And so this really was a game that could have gone either way, I think. And Seoul, to me, still feel like the better team, even though we're tied up at the half. But really, that was what cracked it open there. Kill on Jexay, and they storm it through with nice sound barrier.
And I think this is going to be a similar feeling as well as we progress through stage 4. A lot of these games are going to feel like almost they're on a knife's edge regarding this. Junkertown's back in the pool. This map was notorious back last year in the inaugural season for producing weird results where weaker teams would often take entire maps away from some of the better teams. And it's in the pool. We're heading into a new meta, so we're going to get these weird results. It's a bit more flippy-floppy.
We got Maze, we got Reapers. Things are getting weird here in stage 4. The question I have is, are we going back to the tried and true names? Are you going to see agilities for the Valiant? Are you going to see Flutta for the Seoul Dynasty? Or do you bring in back Shaxx for the Valiant and maybe keep Illicit in all day?
I think it's going to be Shaxx and Illicit moving forward. We've got Kings Row coming up next, and I think that's going to lend itself to the May Reaper kind of compositions.
Sure.
And that means that you're going to be bringing in Shaxx to play the Reaper, and you've already got Fitz in there anyway to play the Reaper on the other side. So you want that May specialist to stay in. You want Illicit, and he's actually looked really good.
Sure, I will say on the side of Valiant, I could definitely see a world in which agility sees playtime, especially going into Kings Row as the next map. I think Kings Row, underrated map for a lot of Pharah compositions, agilities. It's their best Pharah player. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see it.
Some tough decisions for the coaches at the half. We'll find out who they put in the starting lineup with Game 3 coming up next.
일단 제 이 프로게이머라는 직업이 저의 첫 사회 생활이면서 첫 직업이었는데 미국에서 쭉 일하고 있는데요.
부모님들은 그냥 열심히 하라 정도? 그냥 이제 네가 할 거 일 찾았으니까 열심히 해봐라 그 정도?
주는 것 같아요. 근데 뭐 제 입장에서는 당연히 다 부셔버리고 오겠다는 마인드로 게임 하는 것 같아요.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Into the iris. Greetings.
Team up for special attack uses.
That 1, 2, check. Hey, your microphone, check.
What?
Ah, stop it. I will fight you.
If there's any problem with your sound, say it.
Yeah, I have a problem with my sound. I can hear AKM in my headphones.
Yeah, same.
Is it Rockets blowing through his mic again?
No, it wasn't
Oh,
Rockets.
that
was me, sorry.
Oh my god.
It's okay, Dante.
Yeah, you would say that, Rockets.
It's never me. I never hear it.
It's never me. I never,
never
hear
hear
it. Wait.
My
That means it's
guy.
literally only you.
Nah, I just want...
My mic still out?
No, you're not bad. Just don't yell.
Okay. Your mic is so low.
We want to spread them thin. We don't want to... Sorry.
3, 2, 1, fighting!
Wow. Visual and Frankie. Late cheering for you guys.
Yeah, that was pretty insane. I was surprised.
Calm down, man.
You calm down right now. Little man, little guy, little dude, little boy.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ora, ora!
Ora, ora!
I'm giving you some ASMR.
How you like that one? That was good.
I feel like the open mic thing doesn't use much of me because I fare a lot.
You want to be on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, say, yo, can I please be on the open mic?
Yo, can I be please on the
Me
open
too.
mic?
I haven't been on the open
Mark on
mic
the
yet.
open mic, please.
I've never been on it.
I got sunglasses on, bro.
Now that we did stupid stuff, we're gonna be an open mic. Yo,
Let's go.
shout out to open mic, man.
Always love the comms checks, but also loving this series. We are tied up after the half 1-1 with the Valiant able to take Hanamura.
Yeah, and so far it has been, very back and forth. That last map of Hanamura, even though Seoul almost took B, they had a lot of struggles. They had a really nice time bank, and it all got drained. And as a result, it felt very one-sided in favor of the Valiant. And as we head into our hybrid map now, our third map of the series, I have a lot of questions about what sort of compositions we're going to be seeing here from Seoul, because they've been a little bit more one-dimensional with Illicit in the roster, whereas we've seen Shax and Agilities, and Agilities have shown us multiple different heroes, a lot more than what we've really seen from Illicit so far. So I'm kind of leaning towards, from what we've seen thus far, that Valiant might be able to close this series out. They have a good performance on.
So you're asking for more depth from the Seoul Dynasty, right?
Yeah, a little bit more.
Well, good news! We got some depth because there's going to be a substitution for the Dynasty squad. Flutta will be taking to the stage, subbing in for Fitz.
Well, there you go. It's like I asked and they answered.
Yep.
So Fletta here, there's a lot of flexibility. You could argue over Flitz on a map like King's Fitz on a map like King's Row.
Flitz and Feta.
Yeah. So Fletta could play the Hanzo here. Can also have Widow as a potential hero we do see from him, but also can play the Pharah. So those are the three heroes you look at for Fletta on this map in particular, where you think, okay, this makes more sense.
Well, he plays Pharah, but will be set up on defense first. So Hanzo going to be sticking through with Illicit there on the Mei.
And as Bren alluded to in the halftime, Agilities will be on the attack Pharah here, just like we saw on Hanamura. And does not get subbed out for Shax.
Just calling out Sideshow on that one.
Yeah, a little bit. Not intentionally, but it's really just trying to reward Bren.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, Rockets coming down from above. Agilities taking a bit of damage. Have to be fearful always of Jaehong with that Ana to get sniped out of the sky. We'll be able to push Michelle off the high ground. Gets those hits in on the Marvel. It will take him down. Mortality field now going to be gone. This whole Dynasty exposed and vulnerable will be finished off. And it seems like the Valiant on the first push might just be able to take this cap on A. One tick rolling through, but Jaehong trying to equalize. Pulls one back onto KSF. The res is there, however, onto Karib. Space going lower and lower. Can't take a breather. Manages to escape. He's got the backup there from Karib.
The tools the Dynasty have here are designed to crush a Roadhog-oriented push that has either a Hanzo with it, more sniper-oriented composition. It's not really designed to shut down the Pharah element, and that's why this is so powerful and why Agilities is in here. There's no blind McCree, there's no real answer. The Immortality Field not too useful against this Pharah, at least not right now.
Yeah, forces that ice block out from Illicit. Just trying to build up for that barrage. Nearly there. So rockets continue to come down from above. So just shy of 5 minutes now for the Valiant on this push. Fantastic starting time bank for them. This whole Dynasty gonna have to pull out all the stops and try to drain this down. Bolt coming in, looking for the hook, connects it on the Marvel as he goes low. Creeps gets that Immortality Field.
Yeah.
Now the window's gonna be coming through. Dragon Strike out. Cart still gonna be advancing here. No kills to be found for either side yet.
Barrage opportunity coming up here. The Immortality Field is down. They know where Jexay is. He can just try to float around the back.
Takes him low. Blizzard gonna be tossed in. The barrage is there. Agilities manages to find two. The Immortality Field just a little bit too late. Marvel does manage to finish him off. Now comes up with another kill in the fact fiction in space. Gets a whole hog to death.
So they tracked the Immortality Field cooldown. They had him go around the backside, Agilities did, and they set up for a great barrage. The problem was that they were all split into different directions, whereas the Seoul Dynasty were packed into one location where they could individually pick off targets. They had a lot of extra healing with Jaehong and Jexay here. And it's just tough to get those ending kills. And now Agilities misses the barrage. You know, he doesn't have it anymore, I should say. He misses it very dearly. And the Seoul Dynasty have a great ult advantage.
See a lot of damage going forward here. Onto the tank line, Agilities yoinked in, and Fleta will be able to pick up a triple kill and make it a quadra.
It's much easier to use the Dragon Strike on King's Row when there's no enemy Baptiste to actually shut it down with Immortality Field. So Fleta, all he needs is the vision and the information, and then a halt comes through, and you end up with a massive set of kills. We saw it a lot less in the rest of our series today because we've seen so much Baptiste on this map, but Valiant running the Zenyatta instead. Custa will swap now.
Go ahead, take a look back at Fleta here, coming up with this quadruple kill.
Look at this angle here. You see Custa's on the Mercy, and he's only just now going to swap after that Dragon Strike.
Well, back here into the action. Fleta picking up even more kills as Agilities goes down. KSF taken out. Barrier thrown forward here, blocks out a little bit of damage, but now Fact Fiction is going to be anti. As the Supercharger comes through for the Seoul Dynasty, and Fleta continues to snipe.
Fleta is the meta, as they say, and, you know, with Custa here having this swap, they're going to have a lot easier of an opportunity to shut down this next Dragon Strike, and they've gotten through this really nasty archway, where it's tough even with Immortality Field to break through. Jexay needs to be careful himself, though. Here comes theirs.
Yep, Dragon Strike going to be thrown in the Immortality Field. Taken down by Space. Jexay will fall to the Dragon Strike. Cart now advancing. They take them down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds about here as they get ready to roll into B, but there's no way for this whole Dynasty to contest this. So will be a bump up to 3.5 minutes here for the Valiant for the final stretch.
Yep. KSF coming up here, puts himself in a vulnerable spot. Don't know about that.
Yeah, can't capitalize though.
The wall is on cooldown now, so that's actually pretty huge. The Dynasty have an opportunity now in this window.
Bionade as well. They're on the KSF, but he manages to stay alive. Actually drops down and kills off Michelle. Now the Immortality Field going to be eliminated. The Illicit is taken out. And now he's got that high ground control. Seoul Dynasty, what can they do to stabilize? Dragon Strike is going to be online. KSF uses his, tosses that into the back. Jaehong nearly taken down by it, but instead the Storm Arrows are going to be what claims him. But unable to find anything to hook in, now taken down. It seems like the Valiant might just be able to cruise through this final stretch. They get the freeze in onto Michelle's mech, drop in the Blizzard. Take him down and just glide into the finish.
Absolutely dominant. Agilities with one wall after another. 3 walls in a row that become impactful. The first keeps his slept teammate KSF alive. The second one there sets up the flank. The third one locks him in to a Blizzard. And that is a massive 2-minute 48 time bank for the Valiant. They have absolutely sucked the momentum away from the Dynasty here.
Yeah, it certainly is on their side. Seoul Dynasty going to try to turn this one on its head. We'll see if they can do so on their attack.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
And welcome back. Valiant able to finish with 2 minutes and 48 seconds in the time bank, just gliding their way through that final stretch of King's Row. Now we look to the Seoul Dynasty, see how they can fare on their own attack.
It starts to feel like the Valiant really have their number. Agility's not only has his bar given them a ton of trouble, but also, you know, now we're seeing his Mei come through. And Dynasty are kind of getting caught in these awkward fights where Agility's just got one of their players walled off, or he's set up a nice wall to help the Valiant defend and the Dynasty still commit. And he's kind of controlling the pace of the game right now. We will see KSF go for the Widow start here on defense. Fleda's going to have line of sight disadvantage, so he'll probably swap pretty quick here after an opening potential snipe. Just barely missed it there.
Seems like he might still want to play forward, but now sees that barrier.
I mean, this is so greedy to try to attack Widow when you know how good the time bank is of the Valiant. You really are playing all in with this.
See, he's trying to think about what approach he wants to go for. Oh, the wall actually stopping him from hopping away. He does still get that dink onto Karim, but it wasn't a fully charged shot, so it doesn't finish off the Ana. They will get top back up. Don't know if he actually spotted KSF there, but has an inkling of an idea where the enemy diva would be, especially now that Illicit has been picked off. Michelle now knocked out of the mech as well, so Seoul Dynasty can hold it on this first push.
Now he's really out there.
Yep.
I don't know if he's getting home.
Right click through, push forward, and there it is.
I think you're going to have to swap in this situation. You have no more time to mess around with this attack, Widow, when you have line of sight disadvantage versus barriers. I mean, you're really walking on thin ice right now if you're running this. If you don't win it with this fight, you're in big trouble.
I mean, the main issue that's going on right now is that the only shield break that they really have is going to be Illicit with the Storm Arrows, because Michelle is on Diva. He's not on the Roadhog, so they don't have those right clicks to break down the barriers to allow Flood to get the shots through. And you can see just the suffering coming in here for the Dynasty as Marvel and Michelle get taken down again.
This is basically Fleta saying,
hey, look, deja vu.
This is basically Fleta saying, I'm going to pop all over a wall and kill 3 people before I touch the ground. I'm going to have a highlight reel of a performance, and if I don't, Valiant go up 2-1. I mean, this is not enough. This is not fast enough. This is not working. I hate to say it, even the ultimate I don't think is going to be what turns this around, and Illicit's so far away from a Dragon Strike.
Drop down coming through, looking for the finish, but Chili's makes it into the ice block. Nice double tap there on a space, but the Immortality Field will come through. Now that's been burned, however, the Dragon Strike will get let loose, but Agility's now going to be taken down. Solid start here for the Seoul Dynasty, but can they keep pushing up? Zoned back right now are the Valiant. The barrier coming in.
Nano.
They drop that supercharger. Alyssa gets a Nano who goes into the back and manages to take down Custa. Storm Arrows leading to that first kill, but Space pushes forward and manages to find Jekse. Taking him down. Alyssa just tries to hide behind the pillar, pop out, and get some shots in. One tick snatched here by the Seoul Dynasty, but Agilities comes back in with a Doom Fist. Gonna be taking a nap after he takes down Fleta.
Well,
see the retreat coming out for the rest of the Dynasty.
Illicit got that, that initial pick and got the Dragon Strike, set up the flank. He has a second one here, but this time isn't good enough. And now you're starting to worry, am I even going to get A? Is this map just going to end here? I want to see the Fleta pop up. I want to see the Fleta deadlift here. But I worry that given the architecture of the map, it's not going to happen.
Yep. Pretty far from it here, and Michelle going to be forced to use that self-destruct. Agilities.
Nice
does get pulled in.
Great
get behind the barrier in time, so it does get taken down. Jekse, however, yoinked again, and KSF comes up with a kill onto Fleta. Nearly drops down into that Dragon Strike, but will be okay. Just fearlessly pushing forward past the barrier to help mow down Marvel. Now looks for the shot, body tag there onto Jaehong as he waits nearly finishes off Jexa again. 30 seconds remaining, only a single tick snagged by the Seoul Dynasty.
There's a reason why we don't see a ton of attack. Widow, Fleta swaps to Hanzo as Alyssa goes over to the Mei with 25 seconds remaining. Make that 20 now.
3 ults online for the Valiant. The Supercharger nearly back up for Fact Fiction. They've got the window. Go in for the whole hook, unable to find it. Fleta getting around in the back line. Sees that Immortality Field, takes it down. Nearly eliminates Custa. He uses the Amp Matrix, the whole hog, pushing through it all. Melts them down. With the help of KSF getting the headshots in on a Michelle, and that will be it. They cannot tag to force out the OT. The Valiant take King's Row, and now they're at match point, 2-1.
Fleta's Folly trying to attack into the barriers with no realistic shield break, hoping for the best, hoping for a carry moment, perhaps headshots in the air, but his head was in the clouds, and Los Angeles Valiant deserve respect, and he didn't give it to him. He gets destroyed by KSF on this map, and that's the 2-1 lead for the Valiant.
Yep. The full hold, now the 2-1. Just one more to close it out. Let's see if the Valiant can do it when we come back for Escort.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
We've seen some amazing skill this season, but in the end, there can only be one pro that takes home the Overwatch League MVP award, sponsored by the good folks at T-Mobile.
New players have risen through the ranks to become stars, while League veterans fight to remain on top. Now, the time has come to immortalize another player in the halls of esports legends and crown the 2019 Overwatch League MVP, presented by T-Mobile. Here are your MVP finalists.
Sinatra's been playing like a man possessed.
Sinatra.
Janu is certainly up there, best diva in the league.
Janu. Super.
Twilight gets in there, but Twilight can handle himself.
Twilight.
His Primal Rages, I've never seen a player who's more mechanically skilled, I think.
Gushui. The winner will be determined by you, the fans, as well as Overwatch League casters and analysts. Cast your vote on Twitter using #OwlMVP and the player's battle tag, or during any remaining regular season broadcast on Twitch. Voting ends on August 25th, so let your voice be heard. It's your league, your decision. Who will you choose as this season's T-Mobile Overwatch League MVP?
That is right. It's your league and your vote, so make sure you vote for your MVP using the Twitch overlay, or take to Twitter using the hashtag OwlMVP and the player's battle tag. So make sure you get your votes in. It closes on August 25th.
Yeah, you know, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, you know, you only get one vote, make it count. Really think about...
Be patient with it.
Yeah, think about who you're voting for and why. You know, Fact Fiction, head in hands, but elated, it looks like, as this is a great lead here for the Valiant. After a pretty one-sided Hanamura, we head into King's Row. Fleta fights the map architecture. You know, coaching decision or not, he sticks with the Widow and just gets absolutely obliterated. And as we head into Route 66, no substitutions whatsoever. Fleta will stay in, as will Agilities. And maybe we'll finally see a mirror between these two squads with the Mei Hanzo, and based on what we're seeing so far, seems pretty likely.
Yeah. Well, still Valiant flipping around with a couple different things. See what they settle on, but the Mei Hanzo going to be the most likely. I believe coming into the day was the most played composition alongside the Orisa Roadhog. Dynasty just setting up with that. Fleta will be starting on the Hanzo here. Jexay back over onto the Batiste.
Because they're not running the Pharah here this time, the Valiant, Custer's going to start the Batiste, so that's actually really important in terms of having that extra protection against these Halt Hogs on the defense. Or Halt Hooks. Oh, whatever. Hog, that's his function. He hooks.
The yoink and yoink.
Oink and yoink, as they say.
Oh, speaking of Halt, going in, but Back Fiction is fortified, so can't get pulled through for one of their own, but Illicit denies any access to the Roadhog with that Mei wall. So they are set up very far forward here for the Seoul Dynasty. Karib gonna get picked off. Illicit coming up with some nice shots, manages to take him down. Space is gonna be taking a nap. The hopes of killing off him. Oh, never mind. Just focus fire him, it's fine.
We talked about this earlier today a little bit, but the other difference in composition that we're seeing, at least in this mirror, is Jaehong versus Karib, the Ana versus Zenyatta. Jaehong has more healing output, but over time, and Karib's gonna give you that extra damage boost to kill a target faster.
And here it's going to be Ant Matrix out from both of these teams. Bionate tossed in, connects on to Back Fiction, but they still have that old Immortality field. He's for a little bit longer. Bolt going in, Marvel, he gets pulled through the wall. Too late from Illicit to try to keep him alive. The Orisa goes down, now pushing forward. It's going to be freezing up Michelle, finished off with the help of that Discord Orb. And it seems like the Valiant will finally be able to get this cart rolling.
And because this was done without ultimates, the difference here in terms of support ults is massive. Jaehong has a nano boost, but it's actually very low impact. Karib's going to have a trance in this fight, and that can actually save you against a Blizzard. And after a, Immortality Field blocks Dragon Strike, it can save you there too. Jaehong's nano boost maybe goes onto Illicit, maybe goes onto Fleta, but it's a lot tougher to get value out of that. Trance going to be very easy.
Set up onto the high ground as Karib is going to be the one bringing up the cart, so he's unable to poke out at the moment. Blizzard comes in first from KSF, nearly gets picked off as he throws that one down, but look at the freeze! It gets 5 members! There's Michelle and Marvel, now Jaehong, all going to be eliminated. KSF gets himself a triple.
And the cart's going to keep rolling.
I mean, that's A.
Yeah. There's no way to recontest this for the Seoul Dynasty with Illicit coming back so late. And Fleta's, is not going to want to waste Dragon Strike time to buy a few seconds. They're going to have to go
spawn.
Yeah, they're going to have to go find a way to get this high ground controlled here on the right side.
Wall coming up, Sleep Dart not quite gonna hit. Blizzard now answered out from Illicit. This is one down right at the entrance, and as you were mentioning, the Transcendence will come in. Immortality Field gonna be stacked on top of it, and actually Agilities tries to turn that fight as Jaehong gets taken down by the Dragon Strike. Answering one gonna be coming through from Fleta. They get the halt in. It's gonna be a 1-for-1, a support taken down each. The wall comes up just to protect them as they all retreat and wait for Custer to respawn.
Nice wall there from KSF. Actually him on the Mei this time over Agilities. The Seoul Dynasty have, in this location here, an opportunity to use Nano to really help out.
Superchargers in, Wall denies the hook again. Illicit just trying to keep his team protected.
The choke can make the Nano so powerful with both Hanzo and Mei.
Paul gets the pull, the whole hog out from Michelle. Just pushing them back here for the moment. Hart not really going anywhere. Dynasty just trying to hold this one out. Hook goes in, Marvel gonna get walled off from the rest of his squad, and Space with a whole hog of his own will be able to come up with a kill. Jaehong still playing forward, tries to get the sleep there on the Back Fiction, but he fortifies just in time, and he punishes Jaehong for his hubris.
Yeah, perfect timing on the fortify. I honestly couldn't tell you who got nanoed there on the side of the Seoul Dynasty, but it made little impact. And again, you just don't have time to have these casted abilities come out and save you when the burst damage is real on the side of the Valiant. Like this. I mean, you've got a Discord Orb on Michelle, he's caught, he's hooked, he's done.
Well, up over the top, Agilities. Bit of a 3v1 as Marvel came in from the flank. Jexay and Flood is still just going to be sitting up top.
This is exactly what Seoul needs to do. Try to control this high ground, try to poke and buy time.
Dragon Strike going through. Bionade onto space. So that he can't sustain through. Mortality Field going to be taken away. The Blizzard otherwise not leading to much. And KSF, in fact, is going to get burned down by the Storm Arrows. Nice window set up here. Coming through from Jexay. Allows Fleta to help control the cart.
This is the Fleta we know. High ground control, choke points control, headshots coming through. And because the Valiant were stuck on the wrong side of this building, of this high ground, they got kind of trapped where they couldn't reinforce easily. Now, Seoul Dynasty has high ground, the right side we were talking about before the fight ensued, and control of these choke points, where Fleta's going to have a field day when he does get those Dragon Strikes online, which will build very quickly. Agility's going to have his first.
Yep. Has it ready to go, but Griff is going to be the first one to fall. So Fleta's still coming out on top in that regard.
So hard to even peek out as a support right now when, you know, there's Dragon Strike, there's the Storm Arrows in this case that are poking at the choke points themselves, come out so quickly.
Well, a minute and 15 left for the Valiant.
Different approach angle here.
Yeah, Supercharger and the Dragon Strike online, but now Fleta, he's got his Dragon ready to go. As he just toss it straight down the tunnel. They've already moved their way out and dropped down. So we'll just be waiting for the next setup opportunity. Dragon Strike first out now from Agility's. Fleta tosses his own. Michelle going to be the first casualty in the fight as Custa comes up with a kill. We'll finish off that Immortality Field. The Hulk comes in, but the way the wall is there from Illicit, try to keep them safe. In exchange, on the Batiste, Fleta finding one, KSF finding the other. And a boost here onto Fleta as he looks to contest for the high ground. Time. Will just be space taken down. Now Marvel as well. Cart not moving anywhere, and there's 35 seconds remaining. Agility's trying to stay alive, nearly gets eliminated here by Illicit.
The big thing is Seoul doesn't have this high ground recontested yet. They need to get up there before they want to have any hopes of holding this. That's the big deal here, and KSF, he's got to control. He's got this wall off. Sorry, Jexay.
Cart dangerously close the ice block there from Illicit to stay alive as Michelle comes back in. Hook just going right over top of KSF's head. Blizzard is available, tosses that one down as the wall comes in, and Illicit's the first one to get frozen and taken down. Now Fleta also gone. No DPS, no tanks really. Gonna be here for the Seoul Dynasty. Jaehong and Jexay, there's nothing that they can do. Second lease on life granted here to the Valiant, barely rolling through.
It's the scrappy fight they take, but it's not. It doesn't get them B, but it gets them the high ground. When they reinforce, Seoul Dynasty has to come out of these chokes, and we keep talking about how powerful that is. But you just have full control over anyone peeking out, anyone trying to walk out. There's so much poke. Speaking of which, a little bit of overextension from the Dynasty here as KSF gets half of Blizzard.
Got Supercharger here from Marvel as they push forward. Looking to contain them here at that first corner.
Immortality Field's down, here comes Fleta.
Dragon Strike does come through, but there's an answering one out from the Valiant. No one eliminated. Seoul Dynasty, as I say that, Caster Curse from Fleta. Agilities comes up with a pick. They wall off Marvel. He's got one exit. He's also got some backup there from Michelle, but he's going to be the one getting pulled forward by space. Massive Bionade connecting onto the members of the Valiant, but the Immortality Field keeps them all topped up, and Custa just comes up with a double kill.
Feels like a miracle turnaround here for the Valiant. Halt Hook denied here, but they have so many ultimates in space, can use this whole hog to actually push them back so they cannot contest. Here it comes.
Yep, using it over here onto the side. Immortality Field comes down. Space will be eliminated by Jaehong, but he is taken out. Blizzard now going to be thrown forward here over towards the cart, trying to clean up the members of the Seoul Dynasty. Illicit answers back with one of his own. KSF going to be frozen, but doesn't matter. They're the ones coming up with the kills on the LA Valiant. They're the ones pushing to the end of Route 66.
Both teams really understanding how to use that high ground terrain with Hanzo Mei to control chokes. And in this meta where you have Mei, it becomes even more frustrating to try to escape and actually challenge that high ground. And Los Angeles were able to. They knew if we take this scrappy fight, use a lot of ultimates, it doesn't matter if we get B, as long as we can get Agilities on that high ground, get KSF on that high ground, they can wall off chokes, they can cut off members one by one, and that's going to be how we take B, not by actually trying to brute force our way through that and try to use all ultimates on the point, but actually use them to get the high ground. And then from there, they had a nice ult advantage and pushed through to C. It was a brilliant pull hog from space to give him that extra advantage in terms of positioning. Even though Jaehong had a great sleep, the damage was already done. And the Valiant looked like they might have been held there right before B. Suddenly they've got the C completion here. Only 13 seconds to the time bank, but you can feel pretty happy about that considering where, you know, things were looking, and the overtime finish there on B.
Yeah, I mean, if the Dynasty are able to finish with a decent amount. Valiant, of course, going to be bumped up to a minute. We'll be gifting 47 seconds over to Dynasty as well. But we just saw a full hold from the Valiant on Kings Row. Can they replicate that here on Route 66 and try to close it out?
Seoul Dynasty are not going to try to Fleta deadlift this one. It's going to be doing the same mirror composition. Very wise. And always be tracking, fans at home, those immortality fields. When you see the little small light blue shield, that's when you know it's been used. And that's when the opportunity for a Dragon Strike is there, when that's on cooldown. Right now, you know, used early. Obviously no Dragon Strike yet, but you know, that's what you can track. You see Illicit's health pool there. Gets that extra immortality, as the name suggests.
Hook. Or rather, the halt. Not going to connect. They get one pull in with the Fortify. Keeps Fact Fiction safe.
Fact Fiction's had some slick Fortifies on this map in particular.
I really just love the way that if you use Fortify after the halt, you just get that carried momentum. Say with the Ice Block, just go flying through the air. Nice wall there from Illicit, keeps himself safe as the hook does connect, but a Bionade's onto 3. He and Jexay both falling dangerously low. It seems like they will be all right for now. Agilities backs off that 1v1. And also doesn't really want to have the mess with Michelle. Push up over the top, hook coming in, but he gets frozen. Multiple taps to the skull there with the arrows. They can't quite kill him off, but Illicit will get picked by Space. Now the Dragon Strike going through. Shoves them back, and Michelle is antied for the moment. Mortality keeps him up for a little bit longer. They do go ahead, top up the Roadhog.
A little bit risky what we just saw from the Valiant there, considering they knew that Jexay had Immortality Field, but it was really nice how they repositioned them. Nano committed here too.
Yeah, Nano onto Michelle, looking to focus fire him. Space getting bioed. Immortality Field again coming through from Custom, trying to keep him alive, and now it's going to be the Ant Matrix thrown into the back. Maywall going to be going away. KSF pulled through by Michelle, taken down, but no supports available for the Seoul Dynasty.
And this is one of those fights where you trade fairly evenly, but the defender gets the advantage because the defender gets to keep the high ground, just like we were talking about before on B. Well, not anymore.
Yep. Really good follow-up coming through. Illicit able to snipe him down. Whole Hog with a Nano thrown forward onto Space. Maybe looking to push some people off the side of the map. Is unable to do so. Come up with just the 1 kill onto Marvel, but that's enough to buy more time. They're down under 2 minutes now.
Immortality Field was used by Custa, and Fleta has Dragon Strike. They're respecting this. They're backing away. They know that Fleta could actually wipe them here with a really nice halt coming through from Marvel if they don't wait. So they're waiting for that to come back online. Should be in just a few seconds here from Custa. Fleta looking for the angle here. I think he might have missed his window.
Gonna have to be careful. Not get those random headshots coming in. Immortality Field gonna be used now by Jexay. Trying to keep everybody topped up, but Agility is getting closer and closer to that Dragon Strike. There might be a window here where he can actually use that. Dragon Strike gonna be thrown up over the top with the Hulk coming through, and Custa is the first one to fall. Seems like that's gonna be as good as it gets at the moment here for the Seoul Dynasty as they try to elongate the fight. And as I say that, Fact Fiction will be taken down by Marvel, and Space killed off by J-Honk's Sleep Dart.
So now it's a race between these two teams to see who gets control of the high ground first. You can see the members of the Seoul Dynasty rushing through already. Use those Exo Boots, try to get the Hanzo up onto this point with the Batiste. Los Angeles Valiant slow to get out here. They're trying to race out of this point, but as you can see, Seoul Dynasty wins the race. They're willing to put one person on the payload for the slower push in exchange for that faster high ground. In terms of ult charge here, Agilities has the lead with that Dragon Strike, so that might be one way they can take this back.
Yep, Immortality Field going to be used. Some of the members walled off. They are able to break through. Agilities tries to reclaim this.
Could try to burst Jexay before the Immortality Field comes up.
He's up over the top. He is joined by KSF. Immortality going to be gone. Jexay frozen and eliminated. So good recontest there from the Valiant. The cart's still inching forward, however. Makes it up to the first corner. As the Nano goes forward onto Fleta. But again, he's in a 1v2 situation. He just gets frozen, taken down by the Storm Arrows.
Agilities not only takes him out, wastes the Nano, but also is able to reclaim the high ground here for the LA Valiant while holding onto the Dragon Strike. And this is exactly what happened last time the tables were turned. The Valiant took this high ground away. Seoul is going to lose a lot of precious time trying to retake that, especially because they don't have their Dragon Strike yet, nor any way to get up onto this high ground otherwise without walking around the long way.
Yep. Barriers coming down, wall coming out. Dragon Strike gonna be tossed through by Agilities, but everybody disperses. Jaehoong goes dangerously low, but does manage to stay alive. Now lobbed in is the Blizzard. Already 2 members gone on the side of the Valiant. The Immortality Field unable to keep Karib and KSF in the fight. Now that's gonna be eliminated. And that's just gonna be the team wipe effectively, as Agilities does get cleaned up here at the end. Seoul Dynasty gonna be gliding through here into B. Get that slight time bump up here with a minute and a half.
There was a tiny window where they could go underneath Agilities there using the barrier so that he couldn't do much damage. The Dragon Strike wasn't available because he had just used it in the previous fight. So Marvel and Illicit have the Halt Blizzard combo there, trap everyone on the ground, and sure, Agilities has the high ground, but he doesn't have any way of maximizing the damage in that moment. Great turnaround here for Seoul. Now they've got a potential of a massive time bank advantage to potentially send us to that 5th final map.
Yeah, Matrix out from Jexay. KSF pressured into the ice block. Pops that one in a panic to try to stay alive. Blizzard is through from KSF. Everybody peeling back, and actually KSF going to be taken down. The ice block still on cooldown. So Fleta finds him with the Dragon Strike and puts solid pressure in onto space, but can't quite finish him off yet. Still looking for it. The whole hog going to be popped. That's a major commitment. Now he can't heal himself, and he's just going to be taken down.
That's actually huge that they lose that, because that's a great way to buy time at the end to get those respawns through the pushback of the whole hog. They're going to find themselves in a situation just like the Dynasty did, albeit with more time, where Michelle is going to have the opportunity to push everyone back into spawn as well. They're going to get out just before that happens. They cannot lose this fight, though. They can't get picked, or they're going to be in serious trouble in terms of time deficit.
Illicit just 10% away from the Blizzard. If he goes low, they have the nano boost to ensure that he can build it up in the fight. Just going to be the Ant Matrix and the Dragon Strike so far for the Valiant. Fact Fiction trying to get the Supercharger online. You can hear Ant Matrix going to be coming through. Michelle pops the whole hog, and KSF's going to be taken down. Already 1/2 of the damage dealer is going to be eliminated. The Dragon Strike from Fleta just about to come online. Falls low, 75 HP remaining as space gets eliminated. Illicit looking for some picks here onto the flank. Pool comes through, Agilities goes down. Fact Fiction drops in that Supercharger, but he's not close enough to contest the cart. So the Dynasty just cruise on through.
The series could turn back around. We could have a final map here. Great time bank for the Dynasty. It's going to be 2:10 after the 1-minute reset for the Valiant. High ground control has been the name of the game for this series. Seoul just happened to get it much faster there. They had that Blizzard fight with the Halt combo. And now, you know, Valiant's got a really tough road if they want to prevent that 5th map and close the series out here.
Well, 1 minute and 10 seconds the advantage for the Seoul Dynasty. Let's see who can come out on top when we come back for OT. Let's get ready to jump back in here. 1 minute remaining for the Valiant as they get ready to go on the attack. Seoul Dynasty, again, going to be postured extremely far forward here on the cart. They'll have to effectively be wiped in order for the Valiant to push this one forward.
They also allowed Jaehoong to get a sleep dart this way by giving that extra protection. He almost kills Custa for it. They really just want to prevent the cart from rolling because they have so much more time, so much more flexibility with their compositions when they get to attack.
Well, fantastic start here for the Dynasty as Agilities gets taken down. Immortality Field eliminated, as is Space. But already halfway towards that Dragon Strike. You can see Agilities didn't get anything done. 10% only for him.
Yeah, during the retreat, you're always going to get that free Storm Arrow damage as the Hanzo player who won the fight.
Valiant need to do something. They need to do it right now. It's going to be a flip. Agility swapping over onto the Meg, KSF onto the Reaper. Just try to bunker break them down.
You'd almost want to see maybe even a Moira here if you're going to go this route. It's going to be tough to make this work.
Wall comes in. Marvel gets isolated here for the moment as he tries to stay alive, but he's unable to do so. Valiant does connect onto 2. Freeze comes in. Flooded gets the snipe there with a Sonic Arrow onto KSF, taking him down. Pool comes in, however, on the Jexay. They get rid of that Batista. Now no immortality fields to be tossed through. Ice block will expire. Wall comes up. He tries to stay alive, but Illicit will fall, and the cart will get to move. But we're into overtime, so the Valiant have to stay glued to this cart the entire time.
Really nice play from Fact Fiction to get that halt hook to turn things around. Illicit buying time on the cart isn't actually doing Soul any favors. In fact, it's staggering him further. The cart's going to roll either way. Soul can't retake this high ground anymore because he took so long. So now Big Earls belongs to Valiant, who are getting a free push with no time.
Well, pull in instantly onto Fletus, so no chance to use that Dragon Strike. Griff still just sitting here down below. Has that Transcendence just about ready to roll. The Blizzard comes in from Illicit, and everybody just peels off the high ground, so no one gets frozen. They eat that ult effectively for free, and the hook from Michelle doesn't find anyone on the side of the Dynasty. KSF playing down below. And Matrix coming in. Nexay throws that one down. Dragon Strike now rolling in, but the Immortality Field is there as the Transcendence out from Karim. Everybody gonna be able to stay alive. Walls up from both sides. The Valiant try to stay into this one. Nexay's Immortality Field gonna be taken down now. Alyssa gonna disappear. Karim and KSF, however, going to be eliminated. Michelle finds the third one. It's Fact Fiction gets taken down. Agilities goes into the ice block, but he's not on the cart. He throws in the Blizzard at the last second. He had no other choice. He had no HP. Just in front of point A is where the Dynasty need to get to in order to take us to a map 5.
And the question becomes, how do they do it? This is absolutely, I want to say losable, right? Like, this is losable for the Seoul Dynasty if they end up getting caught and end up getting behind in ult charge. The Valiant got a much further push than they should have ever gotten with 1 minute, especially considering they were wiped essentially twice before that happened. So it was an overtime push they got. The Seoul Dynasty were able to scramble together and prevent the A take, but if things go poorly here from the start for the Dynasty, if they find themselves in a similar situation to the Valiant are able to consistently set up these halt hook combos, you know, we normally say like, oh, okay, this team's behind, this is winnable. I kind of want to say, like, for Seoul Dynasty, this is losable. A map that looked like it really was in the bag for them, given the 1 minute and 10-second time bank advantage, and how well they played A overall pre-overtime. Jexay is going to be on the Mercy to start things off, and that gives you res potential against those initial opening kills, and that can sort of, you know, eliminate that slow stagger that happens when you trade kills like we just saw previously. It's a bit of a risky choice though. If you get picked early, you know, you get caught by a stray icicle, this can really fall apart.
Also a decently risky choice here by the Valiant. They're going to be playing back on the corner rather than on the cart, so that does limit their recontest time if they get wiped.
Jexay just swaps immediately. He's not going to take that chance.
Well, KSF finds the first shot. That shot there on the flatter to take him down. Wall used preemptively as the halt comes through.
The Valiant are really just going to play around this corner and the high ground that they'll be able to get when they fall back. I actually really appreciate this. Give a free push, but don't give high ground. Don't give this corner.
Up above at the moment there is Fleta. Seems like he will drop down with the rest of the squad. The shots start coming through. Wall again to deny a hook out from Michelle. Gonna hold in. Barriers up, however, so everyone going to be protected. Fact Fiction cut off there for the moment. The Immortality Field keeping him alive, and actually the wall is blocking it out. They will finally finish that one off, and Fact Fiction does get eliminated. J-Hulk coming up with the kill, and Fleta answering another one over onto Agilities. Valiant suffering heavy losses as Karib goes down. Space eliminated.
They didn't fall back fast enough in Kilios. They didn't take Big Earls. They played too far around the corner. When that first wall went up, they should have stepped back. Breaking through this choke point right now is going to be nigh impossible.
Somebody's got to tag in. Seems like it's going to be Agilities, but it's getting closer and closer. Someone's got to make it over. This Hydra Slam comes through, but he gets absolutely destroyed. Bionade onto Fact Fiction. The Immortality Field, not enough to keep him in the fight. The rest of them get walled off, pushed back by the Nano Hog. And the Seoul Dynasty will be taking us to a 5th and final map.
Really like the idea there for the Valiant to play back, play around the gas station, that high ground they could have fallen back to, but they stayed for a long time. Seoul Dynasty, all they needed was one set of kills to really close it out, because from there, you get your own control of Big Earls. The Valiant, you know, playing safe there, but not safe enough. And now we've got that 5th game. This went the full distance. One map to decide it all.
That it did. Let's see who can take the victory home when we come back to the final map. Welcome back, late night crew. We are not done yet. A fifth and final map coming up next. Seoul Dynasty able to get that push off there in Route 66. Now they get another chance, moving back into control.
They certainly do, and you know, heading into control, I think we're going to have similar rosters to what we had when we started the night because of how, you know, these maps work. Shaq's back in, so no big surprise. You know, we do see these Reaper combos quite a lot on control. Fitz is going to be in as well. So, you know, no big shocker. We go back to how we start. We go back to the control lineups for these two teams. And, you know, Seoul Dynasty used to have two full lineups, but with the departure of Munchkin and Fisher, this is, at least in this series, actually the control roster for this team. And we saw Fitz in earlier. So, bringing back the control specialists as we head into what will be the map to decide this series. I think it could go either way, I really do. I feel like both of these teams are playing very scrappy. Neither of these teams are playing perfect Overwatch in this series.
Yep.
And it's late, you know, these guys have been here all day. It's a late night, so you gotta keep your wits about you. You gotta really show your resilience here.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, I mean, the pressure's on.
I mean, Valiant used to this just last week versus Paris. Nearly got reverse swept. Not quite the same situation, but still a game 5. We'll see if they can persevere. Like we saw before, Seoul Dynasty was able to take Busan. Now we're on Ilios. Both teams do have losing records on this map. That was in a different meta.
Yeah, different meta, different time. These are the records for the year, excluding, you know, of course, the 2018 Overwatch League stats. That's been mostly GOATs, where both of these teams struggled. Valiant more than Seoul Dynasty, but they both found their footing in the end. It is going to be the Reaper Mei, as expected. Fitz and Shaq's back in for the Reaper. Very powerful on Ruins in particular. We've seen a few teams, like Florida, take the risk with the Widow to outpoke, but it's just so risky. If you don't get those opening kills, you're going to have such a big problem reapproaching the point. So these teams are just taking the safest approach, Reaper Mirror.
Yep. Will be the difference of the Diva and the Roadhog here, however. Michelle is going to be sticking through with that one. They get to sleep for a moment there on a back fiction. Hook forward. Now onto Michelle, but a Bionade out from Jaehong. Catches 4 members. KSF After getting frozen, will get finished off. Pull up over the top. Michelle will finish off Back Fiction. That's going to be a fantastic start for the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, bio grenade here to deter the chase. Actually, it's not done. Scary there. Could have been slapped by Kariv, but they do get out, and they are going to set up aggressively here at the front because it's much tougher for the Valiant to break through this choke than it is to break through the actual opening of the point itself. Marvel replaces the shield.
I mean, just so much further forward right now are the Dynasty, of course, with their ultimates. And that build time. Wall comes out. Fitz, he used a Wraith Walk. He had no way to get out. Completely cut off, but still, Marvel comes up with 2. And that will be the Dynasty able to take the victory with on the back of that Blizzard from Illicit.
Yep, so one ultimate fight. Jaehyung wanted to use the nano boost there to save Illicit, but it actually didn't end up being necessary. The wall from KSF denied him line of sight, so he couldn't actually set it up, but now he actually gets to keep it. Didn't need it. And instead of trying to operate around the Blizzard choke, this time they're going to separate back to the spawn, or not the spawn, the edge of the point itself, the control point.
60% about to be coming up here for the Seoul Dynasty. Death Blossom for Fitz just 15% away. Ball's been burned. KSF has the Blizzard. They have to be cautious about Michelle getting that eat, but nothing to eat when KSF is just the first one to get picked off. Now Death Blossom comes in from Shax, however, looking to turn things around. Supercharger, Illicit, and Jaehyung all going to be eliminated here. That was barriers used by Jexay.
Extremely risky by the Valiant to commit that nano boost. They haven't flipped this yet, so this is great for Seoul. They could actually turn this around too with Fitz's Death Blossom.
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and use that one. The Wraith Walk from Shax allows him to exit, and now with the sound barrier pushes straight back through. Michelle gonna be knocked out of the mech, taken down, and the Valiant should be able to flip this one as Jexay gets finished off.
They get the sound barrier for this, but it's a trade, and they bring it up to 95%. Shax has Death Blossom advantage. They have the same advantage that Seoul did now. They're gonna control the same choke point, just on Seoul's side of the map. But they cannot afford any mistakes, any trip-ups here.
Charger from down, wall up for Illicit.
KSF needs to use that solo Blizzard fight now, just like we saw from Illicit previously in the same situation. Otherwise, this is going to snowball out of control real quick.
Fitz is looking for a flank angle, coming around from behind. Blizzard goes down. Michelle not going to be able to eat that. Fitz, Wraith walking out. Sliver of HP remaining as they try to push forward and finish him off. They'll be unable to do so, and it seems like Michelle actually even pulls out successfully, keeps himself safe, but now the rest of the Dynasty charge forward with a Blizzard, take down Back Fiction. KSF frozen for the moment, now eliminated. Illicit finds that one. The rest of the Dynasty start charging forward to get this flip and try to finish the round. Space with the self-destruct, unable to find it, can't make it back into the mech, but now Marvel gonna be taken down. Shax comes up with a double kill before Jexay can finish him off.
They have to race back to the point. The Valiant do. It's gonna flip here. They're gonna have just a second to contest here. They have to come in all as one. The speed boost is gonna be there for Custa.
Force out the overtime with the tag in from KSF. Up over the top are both of these Anas. The Bionades tossed in, unable to find any connection for Jaehyung, and it's gonna be Fitz and Jexay taken down. Dynasty, do they just allow this flip to come through? Seems like the answer is gonna be yes. Just will be pulling back. They have a little bit of time on their side. It's only 60% so far for the Valiant.
Shax absolutely crushing Fitz in the Reaper v Reaper. 2,000 damage ahead despite being slept through the Nano and the Death Blossom. He wakes up, gets kills, staggers the Dynasty back. Fitz is now going to have his opportunity for another Blossom, but he won't have the nano boost for it. I don't know if Seoul can actually afford to wait for that combo. They may just have to sound barrier engage here. And it's going to be really rough because Custa's got the counter one on his side.
Well, going through, Jaehyung taking a little bit of damage, but the bomb is up over the top from Michelle, looking for a pick. Unable to find one as that sound barrier comes through, but Back Fiction, he doesn't receive it. The Bionade hits from Jaehyung, so they manage to take him down. Fitz still holding on to that Death Blossom, now gonna be bombing in, comes up with a double kill already. A space barely exits with that mech intact. Flip coming back through, 98% for the Valiant. Only 2 members left alive, and I don't think they're gonna make it back to the point. They do not. Seoul Dynasty, again, take the first round of control.
Custa's barrier does not clip Back Fiction to give him that extra hit points, the extra shield he needs to survive. And it's used first after Michelle tosses out the self-destruct. Bit of an overextension there, you have to say, on Custa's part to drop that so early, but also so early that it doesn't even reach Back Fiction, who's the one who's taking the brunt of the damage in the front line. If he's able to sound barrier second in that scenario, they have the hit point advantage when it matters most, and they can also deal with the Fitz Death Blossom that we saw end up getting multiple kills there. It's tough to point fingers at Custa. It's tough to criticize him heavily for this moment because from his point of view, it was the right decision. But from an objective point of view, knowing everything that we all know, it's a little bit tougher to really say that that was the right play.
See right there, the Valiant, first team to play in 10 tiebreaker maps this season. Insane. Would have thought it was Philly. Valiant right up there with them, it would seem. Shax gets stunned for the moment. Flashbang connects, but they're unable to follow up for the kill. Now Illicit going to be taken down. Push off over the side, however. Jexay comes up with the boom. Will be eliminated by KSF, who comes up with a double as Fitz goes down as well. The first cap this time over to the Valiant as Jaehong gets slept and finished off.
Yeah, so lots of trade backs here. Environmental kills, the sleeps coming through, but this is a big win for the Valiant. And now Fitz isn't going to be able to poke his way to a win versus Shax in the McCree versus Reaper. You know, I think there's an argument to be made that he should swap here. He does get high ground, the boost up here, but I mean, look at how the Valiant are positioned. They know this is what he wants to do.
Whole team pushes up. Kriv gets hit by that Bionade. And that is going to be KSF also taken down. Gotta respect that Flashbang fan, the hammer combo from Fitz. Will melt down a May before he can get into the ice block. Still looking to break the defenses here. Get Flashbang over to the side. Shaq's going to be eliminated in Seoul Dynasty. Get a fast flip. Space again. Going to get booped off by Jexay.
I want to really explain the stakes here. I mean, they walked in, Seoul Dynasty did, with a big bio grenade into a Reaper bunker setup on the edge of that point with so much sustain, their own Ana, and they were still able to make it happen there. Jaehong's bio is huge. Fitz gets the fan, the hammer you mentioned. This is very difficult to do. Now they've got their control here where they could poke at range, which is what Fitz wanted to do on this McCree the whole time. And look at the ice wall.
But on the side, just looking for the sleep, unable to find that hit. Blizzard's up for both teams, but Illicit pulls the trigger first. And it's just going to be the pullback here from the Valiant. Jaxie's still going to be using the sound barrier as Illicit gets frozen here on the point, but the barrier will help protect him, and Shax gets hounded down by the DPS duo on the side of the Dynasty.
Fitz in position to use a Deadeye here to buy time too. And when you're Shax, when you're on the side of the attacking Valiant now, to get into position to get that last part of your ultimate, to use the ultimate, these feel like impossibilities, you know? Space is staggered here. You're gonna have to slowly build this up. If you're the Dynasty, you've got ice walls to block chokes. You have Fitz to be able to poke Shax down as he enters, fact fiction down the barriers. There's the absorb on the halt there too for Michelle. Things are all going right for the Dynasty.
Close call. Fact got slept. Chunked down to about half HP. Dynasty well in the lead, just waiting for the Valiant to come towards them. Over 70% now, looking to close this out with another 2-0 on control. The bomb rides up over the wall, will not be able to find a pick, but Custa, immediately as the shields are gone away, gets taken down by Fitz. Illicit with a sliver of HP will get finished off Space, able to find that one, but is that enough for them to push forward and actually take this point? Fitz drops out in the back, wraps around the side, he's looking for the kill on the Crib, but instead will be met with a sleep, and KSF is there to try to capitalize. Stunned up there for the moment. A lot of damage, and does go down. Michelle going to be popped out now. Marvel eliminated. Seems like it will not end here. Valiant, they keep it going. They get the victory in the fight. They flip it 40%.
They hold on to the critical ultimates here. They have the Death Blossom. They have the Blizzard. Are they going to contest this high ground like they did previously? It went very poorly for them. Fitz came in there. Jaehong hit the bio grenade. They're not going to repeat that. So this time, Dice is going to get this high ground for free. Let's see how the Valiant are able to stop the drop down with that Blizzard combo. They have Nano to almost guarantee that at least the Blizzard should make it through. It should go off.
Gotta wait. Michelle was taking a nap, and the Bionade goes through, so just buying extra time are the Valiant. Deadeye comes through, not gonna be the Electric Cowboy. Takes a couple shots and Illicit loses out on the Blizzard. Absolutely huge now for the Valiant. Bionade connecting in on a Shax, he'll fall down to half HP, but they'll go ahead and top him back up. Hulk pulls Illicit here into the ice block on the point as he falls lower and lower. They try to top him up. The Death Blossom comes in from Shax, manages to find two before the sound barrier comes in from Jexay, and now Marvel eliminated. Shax comes up with a triple. Jexay off the side of the map. There's 86% on the board for the Valiant.
That should be a round 3, that we should be going to the final round here. Great plays from KSF, walling them off, eating the Blizzard. Dynasty making the swaps to try to run back, but there's no realistic fight to take.
Push around the side. Fitz makes his way in, but just as he tags, he gets melted. Kareem absolutely destroying him. The Blizzard to stop anybody else from pushing in as Marvel goes off the side of the map. Custa coming up with that one. Now Michelle's gone. Custa drops a beat in celebration as we tick down 100 to 99. the LA Valiant extend us to one final round on Ilios to settle it all.
Two crazy ice walls from KSF. The first one puts Seoul Dynasty into a choke, but the only way Illicit can realistically Blizzard, it's going to be very easy for Space to absorb it. The defense matrix comes up, and that's the best tool that Dynasty has once they get onto that point. The Deadeye is shut down. That's their best way to take that fight in a choke. It fails, and then you see the second wall come up, and then they're stuck there, unable to take the fight. Watching this moment here, where Space is able to absorb that Blizzard, look at this, they can only throw it into this location because of the wall from KSF. So that he's got two ways where the Blizzard could be thrown in, right? And he eliminates one of them, so it's a 50-50 into a 100% chance you could just absorb that Blizzard.
Okay, but down to the wire, game 5, last round of Ilios. LA Valiant push forward, Shax on the McCree, KSF on the Torbjorn. There was a turret up over the top here. Get that high ground advantage turret.
Gonna make it tough for flanks here. Look at the position, it's perfect.
Yep, wall coming in, it's cut the angle straight in behind the barrier. Shax manages to find Chexe.
In a moment,
only getting the turret.
In a moment, KSF could put up another turret, and they have positional advantage here. This should be Valiant's first flip.
Barriers are getting broken down, Space getting chunked out quite considerably. Do go ahead and top him back up. Dynasty still playing forward as they look for the halts here. Into the ice block right now is Illicit as he is the sole one contesting on the point, pun not intended. Another turret going to be taken down from KSF as they look for that hole. Perhaps not going to be able to find anything over towards the well. Valiant connects on 2, Marvel and Illicit falling low. Point still not decided on who is going to be able to lock it down first.
Still a very nice position for the Valiant, though. Fitz is taking so much damage every time he exposes himself. These walls are defensive. They're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah, Bionate the Marvel. They use that wall to keep him safe. Electric Cowboy going to be coming through, and Shax gets the better of Fitz here for the moment. Deadeye going to be popped. Barrier not going to be broken down. They get the pull. They get a little bit of damage in.
So
they
close.
Can't get any kills.
So close.
The lockdown does come through for the Valiant, however, and Marvel going to be going off the side.
Remember, Seoul was on the wrong side of the map, so in order to reset and go back to spawn, they had to go through the Valiant here, which is why they're getting so many extra kills and so much extra ult charge. KSF does a ton of damage to prevent this retreat, almost has his Molten Core. And Fitz and Illicit have two very impactful ults, but getting them into position to use them here is going to be the hard part. Marvel trying to flank here to set this up. They see him. He's going to have to take the right side. And this is when a wall can go up for KSF if he's on the Mei, but he's on the Torb, so they have an opportunity to break through this moment here. Soul's best chance with a speed boost.
Again, speaking of the Mei, you gotta be careful when you go to use that Blizzard Space. He's already eaten one. Can he eat another Blizzard? The flip comes through. Seoul Dynasty just managed to kind of steal that one out from underneath the Valiant. As the Molten Core does come in.
Mostly into the well.
Really go far enough. Yeah, a lot of it is gonna be going straight down the well. Some around, but doesn't really hit the members of the Seoul Dynasty. Sound barrier out from Kasa. Jexe going to be matching. Supercharger eliminated for the Seoul Dynasty. Pack Fiction nearly with one of his own. Push forward, flashbang in. Fitz gets taken down. The Illicit falls low, but the Bionate is there on the Shax and KSF, so they have to peel back for the moment. Marvel gets the hold on a KSF, putting him down into the well as Jexe gets taken down, but it's still going to be the man advantage over to the side of the Valiant as they look for this flip to come back through. Dynasty are just now hitting 30%. The Illicit buys a lot more time, gets the wall up, but Shax is still there to capitalize on the Mei, so the Blizzard still isn't used. Dynasty just delaying as long as they can. Managed to send a couple down into the well here, but Shax is absolutely destroying with the McCree right now.
He is absolutely owning, but a lot of time was bought for the Seoul Dynasty. Was it enough time? I don't think so.
He just wiped everybody himself, at least for final blows.
Perhaps. Now, Seoul Dynasty, I mean, it's not a surprise, right? He's the highest damage output, fastest attack speed, etc. when he does end up popping off here. But it's no surprise he pops off because Seoul is in no position to fight. They're just trying to buy time. Now, they themselves have a Blizzard to fight with, but again, Space has had a lot of success in shutting those down thus far on Ilios.
I was busy counting. I believe he got 5.
Right, bomb.
Yep, bomb into the back, going to be passing there as Space manages to come up with a pick, and Michelle cannot get one. Is it 74% now for the Valiant? They've got the Deadeye, they've got the Electric Cowboy combo ready to go.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be mapped, right? Fitz is going to swap. Illicit has the Blizzard.
They're going to be able to tag. If Space eats this Blizzard, that's probably it. Probably lights out for the Seoul Dynasty. Need to make this one happen.
Seoul Dynasty has to somehow get Illicit into position. He's trying to flank on the right side. The rest of the team is going left. They're going to be able to touch on the left side there with Marvel, with the barrier. Michelle's coming in first. Illicit's flank. He's still unseen.
So far away. The nano boost has been used over on a Shax. Kareem going to be taken down. That's a really good pick there for Fitz. Push around the side. The barrier is up into the ice block. Goes Illicit, keeping himself safe from the Deadeye, which does not come up with a kill, but we're into overtime. The Seoul Dynasty need to get the slip. Illicit with a sliver of HP, uses the Blizzard, but there's no kills to be found so far. Onto the members of the Valiant, but as I say, that Fitz capitalizes, gets rid of Fact Fiction. Now KSF gonna be gone. Michelle knocked out of the mech. They need more than that. Shax comes up with one, but gets taken down by Jaehong. KSF burns down Illicit.
Crazy trades here. Fitz, can he pop off? He needs to.
Still playing here. It's the Baby Diva and the Ana. Kareem's gonna be pulling back Dynasty. They get the flip.
I think the Valiant need to consider swapping KSF off the Torb. They do. Shax onto the Reaper. Illicit, the flank works out. He's halfway to another Blizzard. There's delay tactics here with Halt going into the Dragon Strike. There's no Batiste on the side of the Valiant. They don't make that swap. So this is one way the Seoul Dynasty can bring this to a very close round, is if that Dragon Strike goes well with the Halt. Let's see if it can happen.
It's already so very close. Sleep Dart there on the Shax, but the barriers up to keep him protected. Dragon Strike goes through the wall. The sound barrier out from Custa to keep everybody alive.
No
One's
kills.
gonna be taken down. Now the Supercharger gonna be dropped in by Marvel. Dynasty approaching 80% in space, gets taken down. Fitz finds the first kill. Now KSF eliminated again. The Valiant probably just gonna have to scrap this push. You can see Fact Fiction trying to drop into the well. 15% left to go for the Dynasty to take this.
Oh, and the headshot on the Kareem, that's a stagger. And now they can just try to spawn camp here.
It's gonna be Space. He's gonna have to be the one to tag, but now Shax is gone. Michelle finishes him off. The Dynasty might have just done it.
Space is denied. He's denied.
He's over onto the side.
Can't
Maybe he'll come out of the mech. I don't know if anybody can make it in time. No, they cannot. Custa, he barely does. But he is gonna get finished off. Fitz able to snipe him out of midair. The Tracer around the side avoids the wall, but he doesn't tag. And the Seoul Dynasty, they take it all the way, the third round on Ilios, and close it out. Their first win in Stage 4.
Phenomenal series from the Dynasty. There was some hard times, there were some tough moments throughout this 5-game set that went all the way to round 3, but they're able to persevere in the end. Proper swaps between the DPS players on Seoul, just like we saw in their previous series, but this one finally results in a win as they bounce back here. It wasn't a perfect series by any means on either side, but it was a real treat to watch, and I don't think anyone could fault the Valiant. They were able to even utilize the Torbjorn there in the end in the face of the entire series. Everything they spent the last 2 hours fighting for, they put the Torb on the line, and it doesn't work out in the end.
Extremely close between both of these teams. Dynasty barely scraping by with that victory. Still work to be done by both of these squads to improve. But man, what a series. We went the distance. We were already starting quite late with this last one, so screw it, let's just go all the way to Game 5. 3 rounds on Ilios. A fantastic finish to the set. Just, whew.
Yeah, it was a great one. I mean, it really, really was. We saw back and forth action. Fleta taking some crazy risks, not working out. You know, the Route 66 map, very close there in the end.
Extremely. Well, let's go ahead and figure out who our player of the match is on the side of the Seoul Dynasty, presented by Omen, by HP. And for this series, it's going to be Illicit coming away with the win.
Yeah, this is a tough one to call. I mean, between all 3 DPS players, Illicit, Fitz, and Fleta, there were some brilliant moments across the board. Illicit had a great start to the series. You know, this was the pop-up we saw on B where he was almost, you know, able to take that all the way. It didn't end up working out in the end. Had some really nice blizzards. This is where they actually took high ground away from KSF by actually fighting on the low ground using the Halt there. And the synergy around this Seoul Dynasty squad right now looks amazing. There's a few, you know, I feel like things that need to be polished. There's some cleaning up to be done in some of these team fights, decision making, you know, not really having much flexibility has been a small issue for the squad here in Stage 4, but you can really feel the potential. And this could be a team to go directly to the playoffs if they can have those clutch performances, not on 3 of the 5 maps, but 5 of the 5 maps.
Yep, well, solid stuff there for Illicit. 91 eliminations in the end. Terrifying for May. We'll go ahead and take a look at the updated standings and see where the teams lie. Dynasty now going to be in that 7th place spot. Still have a fairly strong map differential in that +14.
And for the Valiant, you know, this was a series that if they won, it would have put them just a little bit more realistic to hope for that top 12. It's still absolutely possible that they can make it happen, but this is a really hurtful loss for them, making that top 12 happen.
Yeah, still on the cusp of that. We'll see how they can bounce back from this loss in the coming weeks, because there's only a few more left to go. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in, our live audience, for sticking through it all. And Night Owls appreciate you guys. Of course, we still have the Watch Point post show coming up, so make sure you guys send your energy over to Bucket and the rest of the desk crew, and stay tuned for that, because it's coming up next.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.